Welcome back to SportsZone. We're going to be talking some women's hockey. Maybe I'm a little biased. This is my favorite sport, my favorite women's sport too, my favorite women's sports league. So I'm really excited. I'm joined by Beth Spicer and Tina Orozco. Let's talk about it. So the PWHL is nearing the end of its season. 21 games have been played, only 9 left. We're approaching PWHL playoffs. And top of the league is tight. It's a 3-way tie between Minnesota, Montreal, and Boston. Who do you see ending this season number 1 in the league?
I would say Minnesota. Minnesota's been consistent all season. They've when you've looked at the top of the ranks this whole entire season, Minnesota's been right there. The Frosts are right there. And maybe it's because they have a really cool name. But I'm just saying, they've always been there right at the top. They have 42 points in the league right now, tied with Boston. And so I just see Minnesota taking it to the end of the league to be first in the league. Yeah. I think they have super good forwards. I think they have super good talent on their team. I mean, how can you not?
I mean, I have to agree, not on your pick, but I do agree that Minnesota, it's definitely going to be a close run to first. I have Boston winning by 2 or 3 points. It's going to be super close though, especially third too, but those two it's going to be a tough race, and I don't want to spoil my pick for title contenders and winner, but it's going to be those two that are going to be really performing well and just having a good battle at the end of it all.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to go with Minnesota.
Yeah.
I mean, the past couple seasons, they have just been so dominant. Like, literally, like, almost nobody's able to compete with them, except for right now, Boston and Montreal. But I do also think Boston really has their hat in this race.
Yeah.
I think Boston is super strong, which I didn't anticipate, considering they lost their captain this season, Hillary Knight, who is notoriously one of the best captains in women's sports, in sports in general. She's fantastic. She's always, how many teams has she led to Olympic? Like, oh my gosh, she is such a powerhouse, and I did not expect them to be as solid as they are, losing their captain. So I've been really impressed with Boston this season.
I'll also add, Boston's currently playing Vancouver right now in the third period, and they're up 1 goal. I think it might have changed it within like 5 minutes, but they're closer enough right now to Minnesota.
Well, we talked about, you think Boston's going to win by like 2 or 3 points,
Yeah,
right?
like barely. It's gonna, with the goal differential, it's very close with Minnesota.
Let's talk about the points rules in the PWHL. We haven't really talked about the PWHL on SportsZone before because it's still such a new league.
Right.
But the points rules are so much different than the NHL. So we have 3 points for a regulation win, 2 points for an overtime loss, 1 point for an overtime 1 point for an overtime win. 1 point for an overtime loss, 0 points for a regulation loss. How do you guys feel about that? Do you think that's something that NHL should implement?
I think so. I think it makes it the most even because I think it really does put like where you're supposed to be, because even though yes, you lost in overtime, obviously you still need your point. And then if you win in overtime, you need 2 points because you did have to take it out of regulation. Yes. And I think it's a super easy system, makes the points like super easy to follow. There's nothing crazy going on, and I think it just makes the system overall better.
I think with the PWHL being so new, it's only 3-4 years old. I think the point system is great because you get down to things like this, these tiebreakers, 3-way ties, and it's just so exciting for such a growing sport, especially after the Olympics. And I think it's just continuing the growth of like the excitement for this.
I think it follows with like soccer, how soccer is so close in its point system the entire time.
I was looking at F1 too. It comes down to stuff like that.
I think it makes it more interesting because you really are that close neck and neck the entire season, and I think it just makes it more interesting.
Yeah, and I think it's more indicative of team ability.
Yes.
And I think we see a lot of rules in the PWHL that aren't implemented in the NHL that are really fascinating. Like the jailbreak rule, I think is one of the greatest rules in hockey, and I don't know why that's not in the NHL. I think if anybody scores on the power play, the team should be let out. The player should be let out.
Yes, I think
you score shorthanded. That player should be let out of the box because clearly they aren't doing anything on the penalty kill.
How fun is that? That's so exciting.
I think the PWHL is just such a fun league to watch.
I think so too.
It's so interesting.
I think women's sports just have more fun rules than the men's sport. Especially
they're getting innovative.
Shout out to Unrivaled that has I love the 10-point thing at the end of the game. It brings. It's so much more fun than just regular games. I love it so much.
I'd agree, but I have to ask you guys, who is your MVP pick for this season? Me personally, I have to go with Taylor Heisey, the first ever #1 overall pick in the PWHL. I just think she is constantly so impressive, so dominant. I mean, she has 2 Walters under her belt, and there's been 2 in the history of the league. I think she is just such an impressive player, and I think she's carried that into this season when I feel like this is kind of the point in a player's like prime that you see them start to kind of fall back.
Yeah.
And I think she's been super impressive. What are your guys' picks for MVP?
I think Kelly Panic, honestly. She has 12 points this season. She has 22 points overall with 10 assists. And so I think she's just super consistent for the Frost. I think she's just super good. She's right there every time. Like, if I'm watching Minnesota play, I'm seeing her right there every single time. Every time I'm like, oh my God, they're going to score. She's right there. She's always right there. And so I think my girl deserves to get MVP because she really is just that girl on Minnesota. And maybe I just like saying Minnesota. That's maybe why I picked it.
Minnesota is a fun word to say.
It is really fun in a Southern accent that I'm like, oh, this, you know what? Yeah, it's a Minnesota.
What about you, Tina? Who's your MVP?
For me, I'm going for Boston again. Erin Frankel.
Oh,
yes.
I think it would be such a cool thing for the first goaltender to be nominated or even win the Billie Jean King MVP award. She is outstanding. She's a consistent asset for Boston. 12 of their 21 games have come down to a 1-goal deficit, and she comes out on top in these like pressure-filled moments. It's just so exciting to see things like that. She also has 14 wins, a career high. I know she's only been playing for, I don't know, a few years now, but still, I think it's just awesome to be able to maybe witness that nomination of a goaltender and a defensive woman like that, and possibly win. I think that'd be really cool.
Yes. Okay, I'm changing my pick because I think it would be incredible.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you might win. Yeah.
She's
so good.
Set a record for
fantastic.
most shutouts in a season. What does she have, 5 now?
Yeah.
Yes.
5 and 14 wins.
Also, .95 save percentage is insane.
Yes.
She's so insane. And the Olympics?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh my
those shutouts are not counting her 4 in the Olympics, her 3 or 4 in the Olympics.
Yeah.
She is such an impressive goaltender, and I feel like she's not talked about enough in the grand scheme of hockey.
I also have to add, this is like a sport that I'm barely getting into because of the Olympics, but she was one of the main people where I was like, oh my gosh, like I want to get into this because she's awesome. I think she's fantastic.
She's so good.
And she's phenomenal in the PWHL.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she is a super special player to watch, and I really like your pick.
I really do too. I agree with you. You know, I'm changing mine to yours.
Everyone's on board now.
Yes.
So that being said, who's your guys' title favorite? I know mine is Montreal.
Okay.
Maybe I just really like their jerseys, but I've been a huge fan of Montreal this season. Yeah. I'm super rooting for them to break that 3P. I love Minnesota, but I don't want to see the 3P. I want to see Montreal win their first Walter.
I do too. I really want Montreal to go. Even though I love Minnesota and I love saying their name, I don't want them to win. I want you to finish first. I just don't want you to win. I really want Montreal to win. Also, it's Valkyrie. I mean, who doesn't want the Valkyrie to win? But I think it'd be super cool, especially right now. They're 2 points behind Boston and Minnesota. So by chilling back there and letting those two kind of battle head to head over and over these next few games, it allows them to kind of swoop in.
Be the underdog?
Be the underdog and take it. And maybe this is just being a Stars fan and every year just like, let's go. But I want Montreal to be my let's go this year.
I know I picked Boston for the other 2 picks, but I am picking Minnesota.
Oh, okay.
I think there's just been like this weird consistent with like women's sports of getting like consecutive championships and winning, and I see that going on right now. They have such an elite offense, and I think the coaching from Ken Klee, he just really knows how to maximize his team and how to diversify depending on, you know, the team and adapting to that. And I think because of the matchups that they'll face, like Boston or Montreal, he'll be able to be prepared for that, and I just think they'll win. They have a very star-studded team as well. There's some amazing women on that team that we also saw in the Olympics as well.
Yes, with only 8 teams, it's so hard to pick who's going to do what because it's like I don't want to root against anybody. I can't hate anybody.
Everyone wins. Everyone gets a trophy.
It's all like so fun to watch. And with that being said, so you think we're going to see a Minnesota 3P or a hat trick, if you will? Sorry, I had to go for the joke there.
Yes. A hat trick for Minnesota. let's keep the consecutive going.
Let's go.
I've got to say, I'm not going to be disappointed with anybody winning the title because PWHL playoffs are so fun.
Even though I love watching the Stars every season, they just kind of make me mad at the end. But at least the PWHL, without having a Dallas team, I'm just kind of like, you know what? All right, number 1, let's go with you. Oh, we lost. It's okay. I want this team now. All right, let's go. Oh. Okay,
I'm like a perpetual bandwagon.
all
honestly.
roads lead back to Minnesota, and you
All
know
roads
what?
lead
That's
back to
okay
Minnesota.
because we're supporting women's sports, and that's what matters. And
You mentioned that we don't have a Dallas team. Do you think that's a potential expansion team in the next decade or so?
I would say in the next decade, we're definitely gonna have to get a team in like Missouri. We're definitely gonna have to start bringing it down a little bit more than it is
Start
right
bringing
now.
it down south. I agree, and I think
because we're pretty far down here.
Dallas has
We
become
have
such a big
I was
hockey
We have
market.
a big hockey like environment here at all levels.
We
too.
have-
Youth, high school, you get up to minors and then Dallas Stars and other leagues too. So I think they could get a women's team.
I'm
here.
so sad I was not here for the takeover in Dallas. I am actually so mad about it. You know how bad I wanted to be here. Sadly, it just didn't work out with my schedule. But there are tons of youth groups through which the Stars fund.
Yep.
And there's tons and tons and tons of teams.
Yep.
We have the capacity to have women's hockey
We
here.
have a ton of Dallas sports complexes. We could just throw a rink in there.
Yeah, what are we gonna do with the AAC if the Stars move? I'm just saying, women's team have an arena already built for them. We don't have to build another one. We can just move right in, is all I'm saying.
And with that being said, my last question is the U Sports or the Canadian NCAA is now allowing players that are drafted by the PWHL to play in their teams. Do you guys think that's something the NHL should implement? And should the NCAA adopt it?
I mean, I could see it working out, especially with how the league is going. To make it keep growing, I don't see that it's a bad thing at the moment. I think that it helps get exposure. It helps bring more to the teams. It's saying, oh, well, they play here in Minnesota, but they're moving to Seattle. Well, that's two different markets that this player's now in and bringing people into. And I think that works out pretty well. The only concern I have is just the wear and tear on the athletes themselves because it's so much work and it's a ton. And those are two different balances between getting paid professionally and just doing it in college, which obviously you're still going to get NIL money, but that's a different conversation. And so I think it provides maybe some conflicts going on, especially if you're drafted by a team that is nowhere near where you played college at. I think that becomes kind of a concern. And so I don't know.
I mean, of course, it's going to help, flexibility between that gap of like a harsh university to professional level. But, I guess there are some kinks to work out because it's such a new thing and, we don't know all the realms that it might affect. But I guess it's something to look into.
I'm in favor of it. I think we see it work in the NHL. I mean, some of the best players in the league right now have gone through college, had that extra development. So I think it is something worth watching and seeing if the NCAA adapts it. But with that being said, I will be back with Tina and Beth once again to talk some hometown UNT softball. We'll be right back.